my name is Vitoria, and today I will give you a class about digital communication of the ocean, how you can use it in your ocean project. I work with the IOC-UNESCO as Ocean Literacy Consultant, and I am also the founder of the Ocean Immersion Project, one project that incentivizes professionals of the blue economy to promote their work on the internet. So I will start with our class. And the digital communication of the ocean is a very important topic because today, from 7.7 billion people that are on the planet, around 3.5 billion people are online, and even more and more, this number is increasing and more people are having access to the internet. So it's very important to promote your ocean project, your ocean related activity on the internet, because it's where people are, and the ocean also needs to be communicated on the internet. If you check for the most researched topics of the last year, you will see that the ocean is not present there. So we can see that there is a need to increase the interest of civil society and of people that are on the internet as well for the ocean. So I know that some of you have a basic knowledge of how to communicate on the internet. I know some of you have an advanced knowledge on how to communicate on the internet, but I will provide you an overview of how you can do that with this class. And I hope this class can also support your project to advance this communication. So there are different types of formats that you can communicate, that you can bring to the internet in types of content, and you have to understand that there are different formats and medias that you can communicate. First of all, you have to understand that there are different types of social media, and one content that works in one type of media will not work on other types of media. So as you can see, we have like different types of social media today, and depending on the type of content that you are going to bring in video, for example, for one media, this is not going to work on the other media. So you have to understand those details in order to start to create a content for the internet. Each platform has one native format, and sometimes something that we're going to do today, for example, we have only audio platforms or only video platforms, or even super quick video platforms where people can send like 3 maximum 10-second videos. And your communication needs to be adapted to those platforms as well. And secondly, you also have to understand your public, because when you are communicating on the internet, you tend to bring this communication to one target, to one public. I believe that it's impossible to do one project for everyone, because you always will reach someone. You always will reach one target, and you have to make this very clear when you start a communication campaign. So each public present on the social media networks are different from each other. For example, you have networks such as LinkedIn, which are more professional, which tend to facilitate the network between professionals. And then for this network, you have to understand that you will bring a specific type of content, which will be different from a video that you will upload, for example, on YouTube. And of course, you need to create different types of content depending on your goal. So for example, if your goal is to pass a very long message with a concept that cannot be explained in 5 seconds, you can do that by a podcast, for example, which is becoming very popular in the latest years. And a podcast can have even 3 hours of length, but you have to understand that all these types of products need to be created with strategy. Or if your goal is to reach um, policymakers. You can make a small video that can be sent by an email campaign. Or if your objective is to educate civil society about the reduction of plastics, probably texts are very good for that. And then you can create several posts about the topic. And also now you have like new social media networks that are becoming very popular that use only audio. So you can create, for example, one chat room about that and discuss with people how to make your life more sustainable, how to promote ocean literacy initiatives. So you have to understand that each type of format will fit in one different platform. And you also need to understand that the length of the video will also be important, because depending if you are going to do, for example, a podcast, you can bring more complex insights and more complex thoughts. It will be different if you do a 10-minute video, which will have to explain very quickly what is ocean acidification, for example. So it's very important to have this overview of what you need to bring. And one thing that works very well on the internet is to partner with larger channels or people that already reach big audiences. I'm not talking only about artists, but we have today influencers and people that work promoting sustainable lifestyle, or even science communicators that are on internet that can help our message to reach more people. And they can also promote your content, so your message. So promoting your work with those partnerships, it's very important as well to reach larger audiences. When you start to communicate your project online, you have to define the audience that you want to talk with. So you have to define which is the perfect audience, who will understand what you're talking about, what is their age group. You have to really create this persona, as we call on marketing. You have to bring aspects of this person that you want to reach, and ideally you have to imagine one person to make this concrete, and understand who is this person, what social media they use, where are they, what they consume online, what they do in every time. It's really to create a map of who you want to reach. And here you are going to see if you want to reach scientists, if you want to reach policymakers, if you want to reach educators, if you want to reach the civil society, university students. Each communication strategy will be different for this public, for those different types of public. And of course, when you start to create content on internet, this will not be lost. It's not something that you are going to create only once. So for example, if you have already one video of 10 minutes that you created for one specific campaign, one specific strategy, you can use that in other contexts. You can create 3 texts about this video of 10 minutes. And then you can create a long podcast of discussion around this topic. I know that many of you are science communicators, so I'll give you one example. Let's say that you created one video about ocean acidification, which is very complete. This video of ocean acidification can be divided in 3 different types of content. 3 texts, for example, or 3 posts for social media, where you explain deeply where this concept is. And of course, this video can become a long podcast where you invite a science teacher to talk about the topic, or even a scientist, a specialist on ocean acidification, to explain what it is to a broader audience on a podcast. And also you can transform this into text, so the possibilities are infinite when you create content for the internet. And it's very important to optimize your time and also the content that you created, because I know that many institutions pay depending on the country, a large amount of money to create those products, so they cannot be lost. You really can use those materials to create other materials with that. And so these materials that you create once, for example, one video, they can be incorporated into your editorial calendar. And this is something that I will talk to you on the next slide. What is editorial calendar? But it's important to keep in mind that you can recycle your content and transform your content in other materials. And then you can divide this content into short pieces of knowledge, or even create a book about this, an ebook. So it's very important to keep in mind that you can recycle what you have already done. You don't need to create a new video every time. You can keep on building on what you already did. But now I will discuss again with more details, is that you really have to understand your audience. So it's more than creating a basic persona, but it's to really understand what this person thinks and do and what they need, and how your content is going to help them. So when defining your persona, you have to understand in which age group this person that you want to reach is, what is the profile of this audience that you want to talk about. Let's bring the example of the ocean acidification. Who you want to reach with this message? Is there's a scientist from other area, it's policymakers, or students, or the civil society? Who is this person that you want to reach? One very effective way to understand what are the doubts of people regarding ocean acidification, for example, or even other topics like marine pollution and etc., is to create questionnaires. So with the questionnaires, you can bring your questions. So like, what is your knowledge about the ocean? What do you know about the ocean? To a certain audience, which have the same profile of the people that you want to reach. And then with that, you can have great insights and understand what actually are the doubts that people have. So with questionnaires, to create, for example, a communication campaign, you can bring very important insights that probably you would never think about that, because those are doubts that from people that don't know about the topic. Of course, the format of your material is very important too. Your audience, depending on the age group that you are going to reach, the format of your material changes drastically. So you can have, for example, young people who use social media in their everyday life. Generally, they are very used with 5 seconds or 10-second videos that are going to explain something for them. If you are going to produce something for LinkedIn, for example, it's going to be very different from one video that you do, for example, for childs. The format of your material needs to be coherent with the audience that you want to reach. And of course, you need to incentivize that share, because sharing is how people are going to spread your content on the internet, and how they will bring more people to know about what you're talking about. And then one very effective tool that we can use to understand this audience and to bring more people on board and really understand what people are thinking and how they understand this topic that I want to communicate. For example, again, the ocean acidification, I need to understand what this person that I want to reach, what they say and do. And this is an empathy map. This is a very important tool that we use to know people that we want to reach. Is often created for who wants to launch a product, but is often used in communication as well. So before you create this campaign, you have to understand that. What my target, what this person, and give a name to this person, make it very real, because you really have to understand that it's someone that is going to watch what you are going to put on the internet. So what this person say and do, What's their attitude in public? Let's give an example about plastics. What are their attitude in public? They refuse plastic. No, they don't refuse plastic. They are aware of the marine plastics debris problem or not. What is their behavior towards others? They want to teach people about the ocean, or they don't. They never heard about it. What do they say often? Oh, I'm not using plastic anymore. I want to refuse as much plastic as I can. Or not, or they never thought about it. So you have to understand the profile of this person. Then you can start to think about what this person actually thinks. So what are their worries and aspirations? What their major preoccupations? So for example, if we are talking about plastics again, you have to understand that this person is going to be worried because they will need to, this person will have to replace several materials that they use in their everyday life. This person will have to change some of the habits, which will have to change some of the stores that he or she buys every day. So those are the major worries that pass on someone. And then your content can bring this answer. Your content, your video, your podcast, your digital communication can bring this answer. But you have to understand what they are thinking. And then what they hear about people that they know, what their friends are saying, what their boss are saying, what the influencers and what the media says about this topic. So if this person, for example, started to refuse plastics on their everyday life, and your campaign is about that, what is this person hearing from their family? How you can bring their family together on the reduction of plastics? How you can do that? And then your content needs to bring those answers and needs to be fit for this person. And then what this person sees, she sees pollution on the waters, she wants to clean, she sees friends, colleague, and family, everyone using plastic around her. What exists as an option? She wants also to see the options for the plastic, for example. And then your content can come and bring those answers for this person. And then, of course, you have to understand the pain in the gains of this person and how your content can bring that as well. So, for example, it's a girl that has a huge fear on changing the lifestyle because of plastics, and then she gets frustrated because she tried for several times to use one type of soap that is not that doesn't come on plastic bottles, and then she cannot use because it doesn't work for her skin. And then she has some obstacles because she's feeling that she cannot do this type of thing. It's too difficult. And then how you can bring your content to this everyday life, how you can bring information for this person that actually will be very useful for them. And then you have to understand what they will gain with your content, with your video, with your podcast, with your educational material that will be on the internet. What she wants and needs, what they really need to understand, and what they need to know about the changing behaviors. And what are the measures of success of this as well? So how you will know that this person also is changing behavior after watching your content? Will be by a photograph that they will post on social media, will be by a campaign that you do, how you will track that. So this is very, very important to think as well. And then for some of you that never created content online, or for some of you that are starting to do that, there are some tools that can facilitate this process. Because once you chose who you want to talk to, target, and the persona that you want to reach, you also have to understand that there are certain topics that you can bring. And those topics we call the editorial lines. It's on the same way that we think about a magazine on these channels. For example, I am a science communicator and I want to bring information about the ocean. But how I will do that? Oh, you can divide your content by different types of editorial lines, and those editorial lines can, each one of them have a name, and each one of them can be posted in one day of the week. So for example, if you want to talk about the ocean, you are a science communicator, you can bring 5 different types of contents. Example, marine science news, or ocean literacy, or women in science, and plastic reduction. Each one of those can be an editorial line. And then, of course, you can define your editorial calendar as well, because this is going to be very important for you if you want to produce content on social media and with a certain frequency as well. So defining your editorial calendar is very important for you to organize your time and the materials that you want to bring. For example, you can bring materials about plastic reduction always on Monday, and then ocean literacy on Tuesday, and then women in science every Wednesday, and so on. And then you can plan more easily what you are going to bring to the internet. There are some topics that I believe are very important for you to think when you publish a content on the internet, which are the search engine optimization. So of course, you spend money probably on this campaign that you are creating. You also had a huge work to put this in practice and to call people to help you on this project of communicating the ocean, but you are not found yet, because when someone type your name or the name of your campaign, they don't find you on the internet. So how can you optimize that as well? So there are several tools. Every time that you post a video, for example, on a blog or even on YouTube, you have a space where you can write keywords, and you can insert there your keywords. For example, if you are talking about plastics reduction or about ocean acidification, you have to understand what people are thinking, and how what people are thinking can become your keywords. For example, ocean acidification, the main keyword for a content about that would be ocean acidification, then coral bleaching, and then what is ocean acidification is going to be as well a keyword. And then you can insert all of those keywords on the spaces that you have, for example, on your blog or on your website or even on YouTube when you are uploading a content. So it's very important. And also the hashtags serve as a search engine optimization tool, because you can create your customized hashtags with the name of your campaign. Every time someone clicks there, they will find the relevant materials. So your content needs to be found, and this needs to be done easily by someone that is potentially your audience. So it's very important that when someone types about one topic, and the topic is the topic of your campaign or the topic of your video, for example, on the search engines, they find your content. So your content needs to be on the first page, because otherwise people just don't look for more results about that. And then it's very important for you to be present and be found easily by your target audience. Another very important topic that you have to think about when you start to create content on the internet is the language and the tone of voice that you are going to use. So for example, if you want to bring tone of voice more professional or more institutional for your communication, you have to find someone that can bring this atmosphere for your project. So avoid as well to use very specific terms or jargons of your profession on your communication, because the language is what will create this identification with your public. So for example, if you want to explain a very complex scientific ocean issue, it will be very hard for your audience to understand what we're talking about if you use a lot of jargons or a lot of specific terms that only on your profession people know what it is. If you need to bring one specific terms, you have to explain that, and you need to explain this very easily for your audience. It's very important to also keep your message simple, especially if you are communicating for a broad audience, and if you are doing campaigns for civil society in general. You cannot bring very complicated messages and very long messages, because probably this will not be understood. And also you have to understand the context in which you are, because depending on the context, the message will be different as well. You have also to define one specific tone of voice for what you want to bring. So for example, if you want to bring a video and this video is about your institution, this probably will have a more institutional tone of voice. That will be different, for example, if you are going to bring ecological product to the market. That will be totally different if you are creating a campaign with a personal touch, with someone that is going to come to the camera and bring one explanation about something. So those details are very important when you are communicating online. And of course, you have to pay attention on the graphic design and on the visual identity of your product. So make sure that your design, your colors, your identity, it's talking to your public. It's user-friendly, is making their life easier somehow, because you cannot bring a very complex issue without a formattation, without this worry on making the information simple. So make sure that your design is also talking to your audience, because depending on the age that you are talking, depending on the age of your target group, your graphic design will also be different. And you have to pay attention, because people scroll around 12 meters per day on social media feeds today, or even more than that. And so your content needs to catch attention. Your content needs to be something that will help that person. And it has to be visually informative and also visually nice, so they can look for this, and they can consume this consciously as well. And there are some tools that can support your communication. So defining a color palette, a logo, a font that will be used always for your project, and identity are very important. So it's very important as well for you to be consistent. And if you decide to produce content on the internet, you have to be there every day, and you have to select a time to do this creation of content and this creation of topics that you want to bring, because otherwise you also are not going to be seen. And then you have to brand your communication activity. You have to bring to this communication product your identity, the identity of your institution. And your actions need to be aligned as well. So what you do on the offline atmosphere has to be aligned with what you do in the online atmosphere. For example, if you create all of your materials with one type of design and one type of font offline, then you have to bring that to your communication online as well, because it has to be part of a group. People have to understand that they are looking at this post. It's your institution talking. It's your project talking. So it's very important to make your content different and unforgettable, because as I told you, people are scrolling 12 or even more meters of content every day. The internet is a very crowded place, but you have to be there. You have to make sure that your content is going to be seen and is going to become also unforgettable for your audience. And then you have to think about this concept of community as well. How you can keep people that already consume your content always there, always looking at what you're seeing, and how you can support them on their journey. So people need to have those quick wins with what you want to bring with this type of content that you will bring on your digital communication. What they will learn from you, how you can improve their life, how you can improve their knowledge about the ocean, and how this person will feel comfortable to also share your content with others. So that was my class about digital communications of the ocean. Thank you very much and have a nice course.